Hi everybody, welcome back to Taji's World of Books and welcome to another book duet recommendation video. Hey you guys, so I wanted to jump on really quick because I needed to talk about this book. I heard about this book through one of the groups that I am like on Facebook, or I think it was on Facebook that I'm on, and some folks were talking about it and I was like, I don't know, that book sounds like it's for me, because like there was like mixed. Some people were like, I absolutely loved it. Other people were like, I absolutely couldn't finish it. It was intense and it's a lot and it's not for the faint of heart. So I was like, I'm down, sign me up. And so I went ahead and got it. And that is The Red Market. Now The Red Market is a bind up of two books. And the two books are The Goodbye Man and The Goodbye Girl. And they're both together in here. I don't even think you can get The Goodbye Man and The Goodbye Girl by themselves any longer. They are out of print. The only thing that you can get is this book. And the other thing that's really interesting is that this author, it's written by Mary Palmerin and A. Giannicaro. I hope I'm saying that right. By A. Giannicaro, all of her books are out of print. All of her books are dark, 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 twisted, very, very dark, and you can't get them anymore. So I was looking, and I'm sure you probably could get them on Kindle, but you can't get like actual physical copies, and I like physical copies of the book. Okay, so let me say this. This book is not for the faint of heart. I am warning you, it's not. Okay, it's just not. This is, let me read the disclaimer to you first, and then let me tell you what my experiences were reading this book. And she says, disclaimer, readers, please note that this tale has graphic depictions of abuse, including but not limited to rape, physical torture, emotional abuse, murder, strong language, sexual degradation and humiliation, unconventional sexual practices, and detailed description of several mental disorders. With that being said, we know that there are many dark books out there that have similar content. However, this story is an emotional mindfuck that will have you questioning all of your morals and your ideas of normal. If you are a least bit frightened, you should be. We understand as authors that we are taking a big chance when we decided to tell this story, but every writer tells different tales for different reasons. We write what we fear for thrill and for things that we are not supposed to discuss. This is not a romance. The tale is not about love. It's about goodbyes and manipulations in many forms. So if you feel like continuing reading, we hope that you enjoy this book, and as always, thank you so much for your continued support, Ashley and Mary. They're not kidding. I am one who does not have many triggers. I don't have any triggers, really. I can read pretty much anything, and it doesn't bother me. I don't get upset by it. I might be like, whoo, that was heavy, but like I don't have any triggers. And this book, I have to tell you, the first night that I read this book, because I started it at night and I read like, I don't know, first 100 pages or something like that, my husband woke me up because I was whimpering in my sleep. I was completely having a nightmare from this book, okay? It's the first time that this has ever happened, because there is so much stuff that's thrown at you in the very beginning with Svetlana, and Svetlana is the heroine in this book, and she has been through every sort of degradation and humiliation and used and abused. She is living with her father, and her father's name is Pavel, and they're Russian, and they live in New York, in a certain section of New York, and her father is using her as a prostitute. And the beginning of the book is all of the rape and the things that happened to her as a prostitute and what that does to her and what her life is like. And it is hard to read on page. It really is hard to read on page, because this poor girl's life is brutal. Brutal, 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 okay? And some things happen, and Pavel works with Caesar, and he brings girls to Caesar that he has had on the prostitute string. And Caesar basically is a Casanova, and he takes women that are absolutely broken and destroyed and don't want to live anymore, and he gives them an out, a goodbye. But he does it through love. And so Pavel brings his girls to Caesar, and Caesar loves them and basically gives them the goodbye that they're seeking. But they work, Caesar and Matteo is his nephew that's with him. They work in the black market organ trade, and that's what this book is about, the organ trade. And Matteo has been taken under Caesar's wing, so the operation of the black market or the red market, the organ trade, is run by Caesar and Matteo. Caesar is the Casanova. Matteo has a pretty significant predilection. They all have mental illness. Caesar has a type of mental illness. Matteo has a type of mental illness, and he has a certain type of sexual fetish that he enacts, which is described in this book. And as a result of that, Caesar has taken him under his wing and is trying to mentor the boy. And Svetlana comes on the scene, and this is a recipe for disaster. But let me tell you that the first half of the book is super hard, right, in The Goodbye Man, because it is all the things that's happening to Svetlana, and you just are like out of your mind. You can't understand how this is happening. You're like, I can't read this. This is a lot. This is heavy. And then when Caesar and Matteo come on the scene, the direction sort of changes in the book, and it's not so much, they basically heal her. So now it's no longer about this really dark and twisted stuff. And it is dark and twisted, but in a different way. Now it's more of a dark romance, if you will, whereas in the beginning it's torture, it's rape, it's murder, it's abuse, it's horrible. But then the second half of the book goes into a dark romance type situation, a twisted, fucked up romance, albeit for sure, but a romance nonetheless. And then trying to see like how things are gonna fetter out and what that means. And I have to say, this is also a taboo. There's so many taboo situations that go on in this book. There's so many, like I said, taboo, not okay, you're not supposed to do that. But at the same time, there's situations that happen that you're just like, but can it happen any other way? And you struggle with the characters in as much as they struggle themselves, because they know that their particular predilections and mental health issues, because all of them have it, you know, are not okay, but they can't not do it. And so you're there in the heartache with them. So I have to say, all in all, the writing is really good. What's happening, you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I can't. What is happening? But how everything wraps up, you're rooting for it and you're wanting to see it happen. And I gave this a 5 out of 5 star. I'm not gonna say I was in a reading slump, because I wasn't in a reading slump, but I was reading some things that are not within my wheelhouse, stuff that I typically read, so I was a little bit bored. This was the first book in some weeks, because I've been stepping away from stuff. The first book that made me, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't put it down. I couldn't put it down, and I wanted to know more, even though I was like this. You know how when you're in a horror film and you're kind of like one eye open and you're like, oh my God, I know what's gonna happen, but I don't want to see it. Like, this is like the train wreck that's coming, but you can't stop. And it's so good, and it's so page turning, and it's so gripping, and it takes like all of these genres, like where you take like, you know, a captor-captive situation, you're taking trafficking, you're taking like you're south of the border where you're escaping the mafia and the mob, and you got a lot of stuff going on. And so it's really, really interesting, but at the same time, you're like, am I twisted because I'm interested in what's going on here and I want to see what's happening? So I gave this a 5 out of 5 star. I really, really did. It's been a long time since I read a book that scared me, and this scared me. It's been a long time since I read a book that I was just like, ooh, whoa, what? I can't read that. But this did that. So it gave me so much. I liked it so much Like, I put it up there with Rest in Peace by Charity B. Like, this, it's not for everybody, but if you see it through, you might walk away still and be like, girl, that was twisted. What the heck was that? Or you might walk away like, that was twisted, but it was still really good. Like, I could not do it. Again, it's not for everybody because it is tough, and it's one of the tougher reads. So when you put like on a continuum in terms of dark romance, you know, like some people fall somewhere midway. Like, I'm definitely going to say that this is far right. Like, it's not like left would be like kind of dip your toe, like light, easy, and right is like extreme. Like, this is going to be on the far right side. It's not for everybody. But if you give it a chance and you see it all the way through, I think how it ends and how it wraps up, like, made me kind of go, ooh, this is interesting. And like, she also gives some, in this particular version, there are some bonus epilogues, like multiple epilogues in the back. And it made me go, oh, there's going to be another book. There's going to be another book about another character in here. So that's when I started to research her, because it's listed under her. So when I started researching Ashley's other books, all her books are dark and twisted. She's kind of like a Charity B author. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to read more by her. And everything is out of print. So I think you can get them on Kindle, but I don't even think you can. So I think like her stuff is like, it's hard to find. So, and in terms of whether or not, I don't even know if she's writing anymore. It doesn't seem like she's writing anymore. So if anybody knows anything different, please let me know in the comments below. Or I want to hear from you guys. Have you guys read this? And if anybody has read it, can you tell me in the comments below what you thought about it? Because I want to know if I'm crazy and totally twisted, and like, or are there other people out there that have read this and liked it and want to share your thoughts about it? Because I really want to hear from you guys. So please let me know. So you guys, I was going to do more dark romances, but I was like, this is so much in and of itself that like, I think this is enough to kind of talk about in a video and see what you guys think about it and kind of get a conversation going. So that is all that I have for today. Do I recommend it? If you check out the triggers and things, you're not, you know, easily offended, and you're not by taboo stuff, by dark stuff, by like all those things, then fine, absolutely. But if you have any kind of PTSD in your background, any kind of hesitation, like I said, then proceed with caution and be educated about your reading and be smart about that. And I know you guys all are, because we're all educated people. But I do think it's definitely a story that's worth telling, and it's very interesting. And there's just, oh my gosh, there's another side character that was rescued, but at the same time, not really rescued, and some stuff happens to him when he escapes, and your heart bleeds. It just is a lot. And so I hope that you check it out, and it leaves you thoughtful and thinking about things, and thinking about like some of this stuff on the dark web is actually happening out there in real life, and so it's kind of crazy. Anyway, having said all of that, that is all that I have for today. Please do me a favor and like my videos and click the bell notification so that you know when I upload a new video. You know I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I thank you guys so much for all the support that you're giving me and watching and hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. It means so much. Who knew that people want to hear what I have to say? I love it. That's it, you guys. So I will see you in my next video. Bye!